There's a moment in life when you realize the true lottery was never a ticket in your hand, it was the power in your mind. The real jackpot is not found in a draw, but in two words that create worlds: I am. Every time you say I am, you claim something as your truth. When you say I am tired, I am poor, I am unlucky, you unknowingly purchase another losing ticket in life's game. But the moment you declare I am rich, I am chosen, I am the lottery winner, you begin to shift your vibration from lack to abundance, from waiting to becoming. You see, the power doesn't come after you win, it's the power that makes you win. The external world is only an echo of your inner speech. When you start living from the assumption that what you desire is already yours, life rearranges itself to make that true. You don't have to struggle, chase, or beg for change. You simply have to become it in consciousness first. Imagine this: you close your eyes tonight and feel the weight of victory in your chest. You feel gratitude as if the numbers have already matched. You feel the joy of calling your loved ones, the excitement of freedom, the calm certainty of it is done. You don't wish for it, you know it. That inner knowing is creation itself. The power of I am does not wait for conditions to align, it creates the conditions. The moment you declare I am the winner and truly feel it, the universe begins to conspire in silence. Invisible bridges of events, people, and circumstances begin to form. The how is never your job. Your only task is to hold the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And that's where most people miss it. They wait to see before they believe. But the truth is reversed: you must believe before you can see. You must embody the energy of what you desire before it can mirror back to you. To say I am the lottery winner is to accept that abundance is already a part of your identity, not something outside of you to attain. Every great transformation begins within. The world you see is nothing but the shadow of what you imagine yourself to be. You are not attracting wealth, you are awakening the wealthy self that already exists within you. The money, success, and opportunities are simply reflections of the consciousness you occupy. So, speak with intention. Every I am you utter is a declaration to the universe. Say I am love and you will see love return. Say I am peace and the chaos will fade. Say I am the lottery winner and you step into a vibration where all forms of abundance flow toward you. Because that is now who you are. Remember, creation is finished. Every possibility already exists in the unseen. You are merely choosing which version of reality to express through your belief. Choose wisely, because whatever follows I am will follow you. You were never waiting to be lucky, you were waiting to awaken. The real lottery is consciousness, and your winning ticket is your word. There is an invisible force that shapes every detail of your life. Two simple words that hold the key to creation itself: I am. These words may sound ordinary, but they are the foundation of every reality you have ever known. Whatever follows I am becomes a declaration to the universe, a command to your subconscious mind, and a seed planted in the soil of existence. When you say I am strong, I am loved, I am successful, you are not merely describing yourself, you are creating yourself. Every thought wrapped in the phrase I am carries creative authority. It is the point where your inner state speaks to creation itself. The world around you, everything you experience, is a mirror reflecting back what you consistently claim to be true about yourself. When you wake up and say I am tired, I am unlucky, I am not enough, those words are not harmless, they are instructions. You're telling life what to deliver next. And life, being obedient to the consciousness that gave it birth, says, as you wish. The beauty of this truth lies in its simplicity. You don't need to fight circumstances or plead for change. You simply shift your inner identity. When you begin to affirm, I am capable, I am blessed, I am powerful, you awaken a new pattern of thought. The subconscious accepts these ideas as facts, and then reality follows. The outer world is just the reflection of the inner, I am. If you wish to transform your life, you must first transform what you call yourself to be. This power doesn't discriminate, it responds equally to faith and to fear. That is why careless words hold such impact. If you continually affirm limitations, the power of I am will faithfully express them. The universe does not question whether your declarations are beneficial. It simply creates according to your belief. The moment you realize this, you gain authority over your life. You stop describing what is and begin declaring what shall be. True change is never about forcing external conditions. It is about claiming a new identity internally. You cannot receive abundance while identifying as poor. You cannot experience love while saying I am alone. The outer world only rearranges itself once the inner self shifts its name. The magic begins the instant you dare to claim a higher truth about yourself, not because you see it, but because you believe it. Think of Am as divine energy flowing through you, neutral, yet infinitely powerful. It will become whatever you command it to be. Speak it with conviction. Feel it as real. Repeat it until your heart accepts it as natural. Then watch as life begins to mirror back your words with precision. The creative power within you has been waiting for your direction. Every masterpiece begins with a statement of being. You are the painter, the brush, and the canvas. Choose your words as if they were strokes of light, because whatever you declare yourself to be, you inevitably become. The greatest secret of creation is this: belief always comes before evidence. The world does not show you what is possible and then ask you to believe. It waits for you to believe first, and only then does it reveal what you've chosen. Everything you now experience once began as a thought accepted as true. The seed of your current reality was once an inner conviction, a quiet knowing that lived in your imagination long before it took physical form. Most people live in reverse. They say, I believe it when I see it. But creation doesn't work that way. You must first see it in consciousness before your eyes can behold it in the outer world. Belief is not wishful thinking, it's the feeling of absolute certainty, the quiet confidence that says, it's already done. When you hold that inner assurance, reality must obey, because it can only reflect the vibration you are anchored in. To believe before evidence means you live from the end. You act, feel, and think as if the desired outcome has already unfolded. You speak with the tone of fulfillment, not longing. You walk as though the door has already opened. This isn't pretending, it's aligning. It's the recognition that the invisible is the source of the visible. Everything you've ever seen began in a realm unseen, and belief is the bridge between the two. The moment you assume your desire as real in imagination, you set a new cause in motion. The outer world, though it may appear unchanged, has already begun to shift beneath the surface. Events rearrange themselves, people are moved, and circumstances evolve, all to match the state you have accepted as true. But this process requires faith, not in luck, but in the law that governs creation. What you believe, you will eventually see. When you look for proof before belief, you remain bound to what already exists. You recycle the same experiences because you are still affirming the same inner state. But when you dare to believe before evidence, you break the loop of repetition and open the door to transformation. The unseen becomes your playground and imagination your tool. This kind of faith isn't passive, it's deeply felt conviction. You quiet the doubt, silence the noise of appearances, and turn within. You close your eyes and feel the outcome real now. You see yourself living it, you hear the sounds of success, you taste the victory of fulfillment. The world outside might still say, it's impossible. But within you, the truth has already been spoken. It is done. Eventually the evidence appears as surely as dawn follows night. What was once unseen becomes visible, what was imagined becomes tangible. But it was your belief that made it so. The universe responds not to hope but to faith, not to effort but to the certainty of inner knowing. Believe before you see, and you will see what you have believed. For faith is not waiting for proof. It is the proof long before the world catches up. To live in the end is to occupy the state of your wish fulfilled before it becomes visible to the senses. It is to claim inwardly what the world has not yet shown you outwardly. This is not about daydreaming or wishful thinking. It is the conscious act of assuming that what you desire is already yours, and then living, feeling, and responding from that reality. It is the art of embodiment. When you live in the end, you no longer strive for your desire, you become it. You release the need to chase, beg, or wait. You move as though everything you want has already arrived. You think the thoughts of one who already possesses it. You speak with gratitude, not longing. You walk with calm confidence, not uncertainty. In this state, you align yourself with the vibration of fulfillment, and by universal law, that vibration must manifest into form. The world is simply a mirror reflecting your inner state of being. If you dwell in the state of wanting, the world can only reflect more wanting. But if you dwell in the state of having, life must eventually bring evidence to support it. To live in the end is to declare, it is done, and to feel that truth so deeply that the external world has no choice but to rearrange itself in harmony with your conviction. This principle asks for a radical shift in how you see yourself. Instead of asking, when will it happen? You begin to affirm, it already has. You see the movie of your life from its final scene. You imagine the joy, the relief, the peace of completion. And then you carry that feeling into every moment. That emotion becomes your new identity, your new atmosphere. The mind and body begin to believe it's true, and your subconscious, The creative power behind all manifestation, goes to work to make that belief a fact. The challenge is that the senses will often contradict this inner knowing. The world may not yet reflect your desire, and the temptation is to look at appearances and fall back into doubt. But living in the end means you trust the unseen more than the seen. You understand that reality is fluid. It molds itself to the pattern of your inner assumption. To persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, despite appearances, is to exercise true creative mastery. When you live from the end, you stop waiting for signs, you become the sign. You no longer ask for validation from the outside world, because the conviction within you is enough. Every time you return to the feeling of already done, you water the seed of your desire, and though it may take time for that seed to bloom into physical reality, it must bloom. That is the law. So close your eyes and see the world through the lens of completion. Hear the words you would hear if your dream were true. Feel the satisfaction, the gratitude, the joy of already having it. Then open your eyes and carry that energy with you. That is living in the end, the quiet, confident knowing that you no longer need to get what you desire, because in truth you already have it. Everything that has ever been built, created, or discovered first existed in someone's imagination. Before there was a city, there was a vision. Before there was a song, there was a melody heard within. Before there was success, there was a mental picture of achievement. The world you see around you is nothing more than imagination made visible. Every object, every invention, every movement of progress began as an invisible image in someone's mind, and what is true for them is true for you. Imagination is not fantasy. It is the creative workshop of reality. The images you hold with feeling and faith are not idle thoughts. They are living blueprints that shape the substance of your world. What you imagine consistently with emotion and belief must eventually harden into fact. The unseen world of imagination is the cause, and the physical world is only its effect. When you grasp this truth, you realize that the power to change your life lies entirely within you. To imagine is to create. But imagination without emotion is like a seed without water. Feeling gives life to the image. When you imagine something with deep conviction, when your heart responds as if it were already true, you impress that reality upon your subconscious mind. And the subconscious, which cannot distinguish between what is real and imagined, accepts it as fact and begins to arrange your outer circumstances accordingly. This is why worry and fear are so powerful. They are simply imagination misused. When you dwell on worst-case scenarios, you are rehearsing undesirable outcomes in vivid emotional detail, and life mirrors that back to you. But the same energy directed positively becomes the force that brings miracles into form. Use imagination wisely. Let it become your instrument of faith, not fear. Close your eyes and see yourself where you wish to be. Don't think of the dream, think from it. Step into the scene as though it were happening now. Feel the atmosphere, hear the sounds, sense the joy or peace that would naturally accompany it. Stay there until that imagined moment feels more real than the current one. That feeling of reality is creation itself. Once you have touched that inner certainty, the outer world has no choice but to conform. The key is persistence. The imagination responds to consistency of focus. Each time you return to the vision with faith, you strengthen the blueprint in the unseen realm. Even when nothing seems to change externally, know that the process is already unfolding. The unseen must become seen, for imagination is the womb of all creation. The greatest power you will ever possess is your ability to imagine deliberately and believe completely. Every dream begins within, every miracle is born from a vision that refused to die. So dare to imagine the highest version of yourself. See it, feel it, claim it as real. For the moment you do, creation begins, and life obediently will make your inner picture visible for all to see. Transformation begins when you stop telling the story of who you no longer wish to be. The old self is a collection of memories, patterns, and beliefs that once defined you, but have no authority over who you are becoming. Every time you speak of your limitations, every time you repeat what went wrong, or justify why life hasn't worked out yet, you are reaffirming the very reality you want to leave behind. Detaching from the old self means withdrawing your energy from the version of you that has already served its purpose. It is choosing to no longer identify with the past and instead speak, feel, and act from the identity of your wish fulfilled. The moment you stop giving power to the old story, you free yourself from its hold. The subconscious mind accepts repetition as truth. If you keep saying, "I always struggle," "I can't change," or "I'm not lucky," those statements become laws in your reality. The outer world will continue to prove them right, not because they are ultimate truths, but because you keep breathing life into them. When you begin to detach, you no longer argue for your limitations. You stop defending the struggle. You simply let the old identity fall away like a garment that no longer fits. Detachment is not resistance. It's not about fighting the old self or trying to erase it. It's about no longer feeding it with attention. What you ignore fades. What you focus on expands. When you shift your focus to the version of yourself who already has the desire fulfilled, you begin to align with that new state of being. You stop reacting as your old self would react. You begin to respond with the calm assurance of someone who already possesses what they once sought. To detach means to speak differently, to think differently, and to feel differently. You no longer say, "I hope it happens." You begin to say, "I am already it." You move from asking to affirming, from doubting to knowing. Your new self doesn't chase, it embodies. It doesn't wish, it assumes. You start walking in the energy of fulfillment, and your world gradually reshapes itself to match that identity. The old self will try to pull you back through familiar emotions, fear, guilt, and doubt. But when these appear, see them for what they are, remnants of a former reality that no longer belongs to you. Gently but firmly return to your new state. Remind yourself, that is who I was, not who I am. Each time you do this, you weaken the old pattern and strengthen the new one. The process of rebirth begins with language. Speak only from the identity you wish to live. Declare yourself whole, abundant, love-free. The universe responds not to your desires, but to your self-concept, the person you believe yourself to be. When you detach from the old self, you make space for the new self to emerge, one that lives not in struggle but in fulfillment. Let go of what you were and boldly claim what you are becoming. Most people spend their lives searching for success, for love, for peace, for happiness. They move through life as if everything they desire exists somewhere outside themselves, waiting to be found. But the great truth is this: nothing is coming to you, it is coming from you. Every experience, every opportunity, every moment of joy or struggle is born from within. You are not the beggar of life, you are its source. The outer world merely mirrors what you believe, assume, and feel to be true about yourself. When you believe that life is happening to you, you live in reaction. You wait for others to validate you, for luck to favor you, or for circumstances to align. But when you awaken to the realization that everything begins within, you move from victimhood to mastery. You stop seeking and start creating. You understand that the energy you emit through your thoughts, emotions, and self-concept shapes the experiences that appear in your world. The secret is simple yet profound. The world is a reflection, not a provider. It does not deliver randomly. It reflects who you are being. If you feel unloved, life will show you people and situations that confirm that feeling. If you feel abundant, opportunities and wealth will naturally flow in alignment with that vibration. The law is consistent. It cannot bring you something that contradicts your dominant state of consciousness. To realize you are the source means to take complete responsibility for your reality. It's not about blaming yourself for past pain, but about reclaiming your creative power. When you understand that everything begins in consciousness, you stop chasing outcomes and start cultivating inner alignment. You no longer ask, "When will it come?" but instead affirm, "It already exists within me." You shift from effort to embodiment. This awareness transforms how you live. You begin to nurture the inner world with more care than ever before. You monitor your thoughts, not out of fear, but out of understanding that they are creative. You choose your self-talk with intention, knowing that your words are seeds. You cultivate feelings of gratitude, peace, and abundance, not as a technique to get something, but because that is who you have decided to be. The outer world then mirrors your inner radiance naturally, without force. When you live as the source, you no longer chase love, you become love. You don't seek success, you radiate the energy of success. You don't beg for healing, you embody wholeness. And in doing so, the world rearranges itself to match your inner truth. What once seemed far away begins to flow toward you effortlessly, because you have become the vibration of what you once desired. You are the sun, not the shadow. The light is within you, and everything you experience is illuminated by that light. To seek is to believe you lack. To create from within is to know you already have. The moment you stop searching and start being, the universe recognizes your frequency and responds in kind. Nothing ever comes to you. It always comes from you. In the end, everything you seek begins and ends within you. The power of I am is not just affirmation, it is creation. When you believe before evidence, live in the end, imagine with faith, detach from the old self, and recognize yourself as the source, you awaken the truth that you are the architect of your own reality. Life doesn't respond to what you want, it responds to what you are. The moment you speak from your higher self, the world bends to your words. You are not a product of circumstances, you are the cause of them. So speak with intention, feel with conviction, and act with certainty, because your inner state writes the story of your outer world. Remember, you were never waiting for power, you were it all along. Believe it, live it, and let the world witness your transformation. Thank you.